So bringing it back to the studio, though, we are talking about a little literary entertainment here, specifically of a local author. Susanna Ruda lives in Pittsburgh, and you've had 6 books published to date.
Yes.
This month, the launch of the 6th one, which I think is right here, the Crocodile's Last Embrace. And not only you can have the opportunity to get these, but you have the opportunity to hear from the author. You're going to be speaking at the Joplin Public Library.
Correct. I have a coffee talk coming up on October the 5th from 10 to 11. And I won't be talking about the books, so you don't want to come there expecting that you're going to hear an author go blah, 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 my book. What I'm going to talk about is 1920s Nairobi, if you lived there. And I've done so much research into the old newspapers and pulled so many images out, which I use on my weekly blog, and I've put together from that an interesting discussion and PowerPoint slideshow where you can actually see some of the advertisements, some of the issues, some of the very unusual and sometimes poignant appeals in the personal columns. So if you've ever wanted to know what it would be like to live in 1920s Nairobi, this is your chance to find out.
We should point out, though, that that does tie into the books. As you pointed out, you've done research, and that is where the books are set. I mentioned this the first interview, but it's kind of a female Indiana Jones. That was Publishers Weekly's kind of take on this series, and so this is kind of expanding on that then.
Yes, it is. There's so much work that I can't put into the books, or they would read very dull and dry.
Right,
but there's so many interesting things that I want to share with people, and readers ask me about. I'll get emails asking about, well, what did they do with buying foods? I had one reader email me asking, in this book, I have a person who has had an infant and are using a bottle formula, and she said, I didn't think formulas were invented until the 50s.
Sure.
And I was able to point her to an ad for Allen Burry's Foods, Your Baby's Health, and they had a full range of nursing formulas from 1896 on. So just a lot of interesting things that almost echo our own modern sort of conditions. They had a fuel shortage problem, and we're thinking of revitalizing a plant that built fuel alcohol from sugar cane, and then we're going to switch it to, the day doesn't change, but same sort of issues. People got off work and it was too late to go to their events, and they wanted a time shift. There's so many parallels, and it's really fun to look at.
Now, let me go ahead and point out that you can actually go ahead and get these at Changing Hands Bookstore. Even if you wanted to try and read one before the coffee talk and get a little more perspective there. But coffee talk is coming up at the Joplin Public Library. That's from 10 to 11 a.m. and she will be speaking on life in 1920s Nairobi on, again, Tuesday, October 5th. And we want to thank Susanna Ruda for joining us this morning, getting up early with us. And
thank you very much.
You're welcome.
My pleasure.
We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back after this.